Hello my lovely ladies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Isabel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how you can truly unlock the divine feminine. Now this is a topic that is so popular, but I feel like we're only scratching the surface. So before we get into this, I just want to say hello to everybody, because as some of you may know, I haven't really been on here in a couple of months or weeks. I truly don't know the last time that I uploaded on here, but that is because I just been taking a break and just enjoying my husband, my family, and just doing things that I truly love. And I never want to get on here to just talk to talk, and I really want anytime that I do come on here that I'm bringing some type of value to your lives and that I'm not wasting anybody's time. So that's another reason why I haven't been on here so long, because I just been regrouping. I just took some time to really figure out what the women that watch this channel and subscribe to this channel, or that are my clients or have my course, what you ladies truly need or want from me. And that is why I just needed to take a step back and really figure that out for you ladies. But all in all, through all that time, I was definitely still available for my clients for their one-on-one goddess check-ins, and for the ladies who are in the course of feminine dating online. And all of those links, if you want to do the one-on-one or you want to get the course, that is in the description for you ladies. But something that I've noticed through this break and just meeting with friends and family and just being out and about, I'm realizing that a lot of women, you know, are drinking the feminine KoolAid, right? They're just like, I'm a feminine woman, I dress like this, I talk like this, I'm like this. And I'm like, that is great, I love that for you. But the reality of it is that is just like the tip of the iceberg with femininity. That is not the all-encompassing divine feminine. And just because you wear your hair a certain way or you dress a certain way doesn't mean that you have now unlocked the true potential of who you are as a divine feminine woman. That is why I wanted to make this video, because a lot of women may look the part, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, when you get down to who they are and how they show up in the world, they are much further away from femininity and divine femininity than you think. And what comes with that, when you only work on the surface and you only just do your hair and makeup and dress a certain way, is that you start to develop imposter syndrome. Now this is something very common. I've been through imposter syndrome. I'm so sure others have felt it as well. And that is because you are not working on the divine part of your femininity. And that is what I want to talk about in this video. Now I can go even further in depth with this topic, but I'm just going to stick to these 4 simple things that you can start doing today that can start bringing you closer to your divinity as a woman. So the first thing that I want you ladies to start doing, if you're not doing it already, is advocating for yourself. This is a huge thing that I see a lot of women tend to kind of stay clear of, because they don't want to seem combative, or they don't want to seem hard to deal with, especially in the dating world or relationship, because we are told right now in society that women need to be seen and not heard. Women need to be more feminine, and whatever that looks like to a man, right? So that way that they tell you online, especially to present, is actually suppressing your voice and suppressing who you truly are. There's so many people who are online saying you need to be submissive, you need to go along to get along, right? If you truly want a man, you're acting too masculine. Just if you speak up for yourself, just if you have some sort of boundary, or you say, hey, I don't actually like that, oh my god, you're being so difficult. And honestly, that is just ridiculous to me. Just because we are women doesn't mean that we are going to just accept anything that you give to us. And we do need to start speaking up for ourselves and saying, hey, I don't like this, I'm not okay with this. And to tell the truth, I was not always like like this woman today. I was definitely someone who did not advocate for myself. I continuously let people cross the line, and it really messed with me to the point where I felt like I didn't want to be around people, where I felt like, you know, it wasn't worth being around people because they didn't respect me anyways. And it wasn't until I decided, hey, you know what? Stick up for yourself and say something. And this, I'll give you a little story time. When I first moved to LA, I was working in downtown LA, and I was in sales, and I was working in the jewelry district. Now, I was trying to get clients to sign up for the service that we were offering. So I had to go to clients that were in the jewelry district. That was the area that I was responsible for. And in doing that, I saw some interesting things down there, but I would see like different men, different delivery people. I would see all types of people. And there was this one guy, he was a mail delivery guy for a certain company, and he was friendly enough, and I was friendly back, right? And we would, you know, chat hi when I would see him, and I would say hi to him or whatever. And then one day I was in a elevator, and he came onto the elevator, and then he basically approached me and kind of cornered me in the elevator and was just like really trying to say inappropriate things to me, just like, so like, oh, we need a date, we need to be with each other, we need to, like, you know, he was making me feel very uncomfortable, and I was like backed into a corner. And I was like, oh my God. So like, I just, you know, agreed with him, and I was like, oh, maybe, you know, just like playing it cool, because I was like, I'm stuck in this corner of this elevator, like I'm just waiting for the opportunity of the door open so I can just like go out, or somebody come in and like save me already. And I just was like, oh, okay, like, you know, whatever. The door opened, I was like, okay, I'm out of here. And so I get back to my office, and I was talking to one of the security guards that was outside of the office. He secures the building where we work. He works for our company, but he like is the security guard there, and they have like, you know, weapons and all that stuff, that kind of security guard. So I go to him, and I'm talking to him, and I tell him what happened to me, because he knows who that guy is. And he's like, oh my God, that is terrible. Like, oh no, like we're gonna report this. Like, no way this is gonna happen. And I was just like, oh, like I didn't even know to go and report it. Like, I was just gonna like, you know, let it go and just be like, oh my God, that was just crazy, and just avoid that guy as much as I can, right? And he's like, no, like we need to go report it. We need to like take action. And so, you know, he came with me, and we reported it. And then he was like, you know, I wanna be detailed to her. Like, whenever she goes to any of these clients, I need to be with her, especially since it's the jewelry district. So we wanna make sure that she's safe. And yeah, this is like, we don't know if we're gonna see the guy again. And thank God for this guy. He advocated for me, and he, you know, gave me a personal escort every single day to all of the places I needed to go outside of the office. And he was just amazing. And from that day, I was like, wow, like I was going to just let that go. I was not going to report it, really. I just didn't want it to happen. I just wanted it to go away. And I told this guy, just because, you know, I'm just telling him what happened, and he just took action. And from that day forward, I was like, there is never going to be a time where I don't advocate for myself, and I don't, you know, stop anybody from disrespecting me, crossing the line, or anything, because honestly, I was lucky to have someone to, you know, advocate for me. But in all honesty, I should have been doing that for myself. And I know sometimes we feel like we don't have a voice. We feel like we shouldn't be saying anything because the world is telling you you need to suppress yourself. You need to seem feminine and submissive, and don't speak up for yourself. But you truly, truly need to. And it can honestly save your life. So I know that got a little more deep than just, you know, dating or anything like that. But there are so many women who, even in your relationships, don't speak up for yourself. yourself, and things truly devastating can happen to you for not doing that. So I know it's hard, but like, just practice just little ways. Like if you go to get a coffee or something and they give you, you know, an order that doesn't taste right or isn't right? Like I usually get like a chai latte with oat milk, and sometimes I go to this place and they just put a little bit of chai and like fill it up with oat milk, and it's disgusting. I'm like, this is just hot oat milk. Like, I don't want that. And I wouldn't say anything, right? I'm like, oh, I just don't like this or whatever. And then my husband's like, let's go and have them fix it. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's go have them fix it. Like, we just paid for this and it's just oat milk. And so like, even those little things, it's like, advocate for yourself. And the more you get used to doing that, the better you're gonna feel, the more you're gonna get what you want out of life, and the less that people are gonna try you. And connection with that, I want to talk about people pleasing. This is another big thing that not just women do, but we're talking to the ladies, so we're talking about us. This people pleasing thing that we do, where we're just trying to make everybody happy, and it doesn't matter if it oversteps our own boundaries. We're just here to please everybody. Like, it's okay that, you know, I'm uncomfortable, but are you comfortable? Like, let me make sure that you're comfortable, right? And that is something that I never really kind of did. I'm not a huge people pleaser. I'm more of like, hey, I don't want to do it, it's not gonna get done type of person. But I do have relatives and friends who are very people pleasing, and it's to their detriment, because for them, it really doesn't feel good. Like, they like to make people happy, but it doesn't feel good to themselves, because that means you have to compromise or sacrifice your own happiness just to please others. And it's almost always never worth it. Unless it's like your children, it's never really worth it, because people then start to walk all over you, start to think like, oh, okay, she'll be okay with that. Let's just make her do this because she'll be okay with it. She'll accept anything. And this is just a trait that a lot of people have, but especially women, because we are taught like we need to, you know, be appeasing to everybody and, you know, be this nurturing woman, have that type of archetype. And that's not the only feminine or goddess archetype. Not every goddess archetype is people pleasing, is nurturing. So we need to dead that whole idea that we all need to fit into that mold of, you know, this is the feminine archetype. You have to be pleasing to a man. You have to submit to him. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, that is not. Can we go down? Was Athena, you know, the goddess Athena, was she a people pleaser? I think not. Was Artemis a people pleaser? Oh, I think not. I mean, honestly, if we could go down the Greek goddesses, or even just go into the ancient Egyptian goddesses, then we're going to see like there are different types of ways that femininity is expressed, and it's not all submission and, you know, this feminine way. That is just a myth. And that is why, you know, I'm even making this video, because I feel like a lot of women want to fit into, you know, this submission and this people pleasing mode, because they think that's going to get them, you know, the relationship, the man, the lifestyle, all that. If you just agree so you can get what you want. And a lot of the times women who are dating more successful men think that, okay, I need to submit to him, right? He's the one who has all this money. He's a millionaire. He's this. Like, let me just appease to what he wants me to be. And in reality, from my own experience, from dating, from marrying a successful man, that is not the case at all. Like, they want you to have an opinion. They want you to have a voice. They want you to be who you truly are, and even challenge them sometimes, because nobody wants someone they can just bulldoze over. And if they do, then they have such a narcissistic personality that why are you even wasting your time with them, right? And unless that's your thing, unless you're into that. But again, that is not the type of vibe that is going to get you closer to your divine feminine and actually experience the experience of the divine feminine. So you can't sit there and think like, let me please everybody, and you don't get pleased at all. That is not the case. That is not what we're doing. Moving forward, we are letting go of the people pleasing. Obviously, we're going to treat people with respect. We're going to be respectful. We're going to be helpful as much as we can. We're going to be good people, but we are not going to be overly nice and overly trying to make everybody happy, because that's only going to leave us to be unhappy, and I don't want that for anybody. So moving on to the third thing is we need to stop being passive aggressive. That is huge because so many women, and I hate to say this is just women, but like I find it to be like more women are so passive aggressive. And I get it, right? Because sometimes you are annoyed and you just don't want to say anything and you're just like, fine. But in reality, let's just say no. Let's just say how we truly feel. Like, I don't want to do that and I'm mad that you told me to do that. And this is something with one of my clients that we recently went through. She was dating this guy for a couple of weeks and he was and they had a date. Now they would go on dates a lot, but he would sometimes always be late or he'll change the plans on her and things won't always go as smoothly anytime they would go on a date. And they were gonna go on a date that night and he told her, hey, change of plans. There's an event that I actually want to go to that I'm on my way to and my friends are going to be there. Can you just meet me at the event and we can just like go from there? And this place that he told her to meet was like probably like 45 minutes out, right? On a good day, right? Like that was like, oh, like instead of me coming to get you, like we planned, you got to go drive 45 minutes out to go see me and my friends that you had no intention on meeting or anything like that. Like, yeah, you're gonna go do that. And so she responded like, fine. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, okay, so you were okay with doing that? And she's like, no, I didn't want to do that. Like, I didn't want to go drive out there. Like that's gonna take me so long to get there. And I'm like, okay, well then why did you say fine? And she's like, well, you know, like, I guess I'll go. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just tell him that you don't want to drive all the way out there and that if he wants you to go, he can just send you an Uber if he's not going to be able to pick you up? And she was just like, I don't even feel like saying all that. Like, I'm just going to go drive out there. And I'm like, okay, well, you're already frustrating. You're already mad. And when you get out there, you're going to be mad with him because you already didn't want to do this and you're going against what you truly want to do. And when you get around him, you're just going to give him an attitude. You're just going to be mad at him and he's not going to know why. So instead of doing all of that, you might as well just tell him you don't feel like driving out there and for him to send you an Uber if that's the plan. Or if not, like then but reschedule another date. And then she's like, fine, I'll do that. And guess what happened? He's like, oh, okay, no problem. I'll send you the Uber. That's the thing, ladies. Like a lot of the times we get into this idea that if we can't say anything, we can't stick up for ourselves, and the only option we have is to just have an attitude, roll our eyes, and just agree. And the reality of it is no, like don't go against yourself. And that is not just like the people pleasing, because a people pleasing would have been like, I'm not going to show that I'm like upset. But like this one, you're clearly upset and you're just not saying that you're actually upset. You're just being like weird about it and not speaking up. Now, I'm not saying I've never done this, but this is not really a big part of my personality trait. Like I said, I'm a say it like it is type of person. So I'm going to just speak up and say, I don't want to do that. This is not going to happen. But there are so many women who won't speak up and won't just say what they truly want. It's weird because it's like, it's not that they don't want to ruffle any feathers, because the mood is going to change, right? You're going to be upset with this person and you're just not going to tell them why. And it's going to come off very, very weird. One experience that I remember having when I was very passive aggressive is when I was dating this guy and we were in a weird spot in our relationship. I really wasn't happy and I didn't know what I wanted to do in the relationship. I wanted to stay in the relationship. I wanted to go. And every time that like we were done hanging out or like going on a date or anything like that, we would always get into like a weird argument. And it wasn't like an argument like I was yelling at him or telling him. I would just turn weird. I would just be mad and I wouldn't say anything. And he's like, you know, what happened? Like, I thought we were having a good time. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not having a good time. Like, who told you I'm having a good time? Like, I'm upset, but I'm not telling him that I'm upset, why I'm upset. I'm just mad and I'm fuming. And it's just like, like, and he's just like, what is wrong, right? And then I would do this constantly. I'm like, nothing's wrong. And then one day I just blew up on him, and I was just like, da, 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 and I just went through like all the things that, you know, got me mad. And it was like, some of them made no sense at all because it already had passed, and he forgot about it. And I was just like holding it all in. And then it was just like, why did you do that? Like, why didn't you just tell him when it happened what was wrong, so then it could either be fixed, addressed, or something? Like, why are we not speaking up for ourselves and saying what is wrong? Why are we choosing to be passive aggressive and making the mood weird and just choosing to be mad, and nobody knows why you're mad because nothing's wrong? And let's stop all of that. It's just a weird circle, and it ends up going bad and blowing up anyway. So let's just not even go through the whole passive aggressive thing, and let's just get straight to the point and say what's wrong and say what we need in the moment, and not let the situation go past further than it needs to. Let's just do that. And that is a big thing, right? Because again, that ties into everything else. Some women don't want to be the person who's going to say something, or he should know, or stuff like that. But you're not doing yourself any favors being like that. You might as well come out and say what it is that you want. That is actually gonna make you more sure of yourself, and it's gonna show the person she knows what she wants. She knows what she wants to experience, and she's just not gonna take anything. So that ties into the last point that I want to make, is by sticking to your standards and your values. Now, all of that I said in this video just takes it back to that. Like, what are your actual standards? What are your actual values? Stick to those things. And when people tend to cross the line, because we all cross each other's lines, like that's just bound to happen. You know, hey, I'm gonna advocate for myself. I'm gonna say this is not okay with me. I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. And I'm gonna allow that person to have a chance to say what they need to say back to me about it, and we can have a adult conversation about it. But what I'm not gonna do is allow people to cross those lines and just me sit there and take it, be passive aggressive, be people pleasing, or not advocate for myself. I'm not going to allow people to step over me just so they can be comfortable and me be uncomfortable. And all of these things are not just in relationship, it is just life. I have a friend right now that is possibly going to be in a lawsuit, and that is because she allowed someone to cross her boundaries and play her and take advantage of her while she was remodeling her house. And it's someone who she thought she was friends with, and this guy completely took advantage of her, and she just didn't speak up for herself, and he just kept on taking money and not doing the job. And she complained to me, but she never really got to him and said, hey, like, you need to tell me a real deadline. You need to do what you promised to do. And now it's blown up to the point where it's like, now lawyers got to get involved, right? And these kind of situations, although that is very specific to her situation, that just goes to the people pleasing. That just goes to the not advocating for yourself and just not protecting yourself. This is very important for your level up, for your femininity, because like I said, ladies, this is the true divine feminine. This is not just the outward appearance, because there are so many women who I've come across that are absolutely beautiful and they're great, but they never seem to have anyone, or they never seem to quite, land the guy. And that is because they're off in the true femininity, the divine femininity, the part within, because they're a people pleaser, because they're just doing too much. And honestly, these lies that these guys online tell you of women being submissive, like those are the type of women that they want, it's false. It's not true, because in reality, those women get stepped all over, and men truly start going for the women who are more secure in themselves, have better standards, and are willing to speak up and advocate for themselves. That is just the truth. And a lot of these guys just say anything just to get a rise out of people for views. But if we're being honest, people truly, unless you're dealing with the narcissist, People truly don't want someone they can just walk all over. They truly want someone who has a personality and knows what they want and is willing to, you know, add something to the relationship more than just, okay, no problem. Yeah, sure, whatever you want. Like, no, they want someone who's going to say, no, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound good to me. Why should we do that? Like, they want someone who's actually has an opinion, because these guys act like everybody wants someone who has no intelligence and absolutely no opinion, and that's just not true. And unless, like I said, unless you are a narcissist, then that is so far from the truth. And these guys want you to believe that, oh my gosh, like you can't get anybody because you have an opinion. And that's a lie. Like the whole thing about like being feisty, like there are lines of men who are looking for a feisty Latina, right? Isn't that the saying? So like it's a lie, and it's just something to get views. I don't want you to suppress yourself at all just to get a man, just to get approval, because it's never worth it in the end, and you're only hurting yourself. And ladies, if you want to dig deeper into this topic, you can always reach out to me. My information is down below for a one-on-one goddess check-in, or if you are interested in the feminine way to date online, the course is also in the description. Please leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.